Thank you for joining us for our Hurricane Prep webinar. It's hard to believe that with everything that we're going through, that us Floridians and the Southeast also have what we call hurricane season and not summer. That starts with us here on June 1st, and know that we've already had a few named storms. So hope everybody is getting prepped and getting ready. And we are excited to have Maicel Green and Tony from Talquin here with us today. Before we get started, just want to talk a little bit about, yay, hey Tony, I can see you. Just want to talk a little bit about the Chamber as a whole. Our mission is to be the catalyst for business growth and be your voice of business. And we drive value through membership through three main priorities: growing business, advocating for business, and our newest focus, bridging the talent gap. So over the course of the last several months and year after year, we provide a lot of resources and information, just like the session that you guys are seeing today. And if you're not a member, we just kind of want you to take a look here at some of the things we've done during COVID-19 for the business community in an effort to help everyone reopen and reimagine what we're going to be into the future. If you are not a member and you're interested in learning more, please email Corey Melton. She is in our membership department, and her email is here on the screen. We've got some great membership options, and we've got some special pricing going on right now. So if you've ever thought about it and you want some more information, please send her an email and let us know. Outside of membership, we couldn't do what we do without our sponsors. And today's sponsor is Fielder Tree Service. And Corbett Proctor is with us, and I'm going to turn it over to him for just a few minutes so he can tell us a little bit what's going on at Fielder. Corbett?
Thank you, Dana, and a special thanks to the Chamber. It's kind of we know it's a little bit of an unusual situation we're all in, but we hope that everyone's staying safe. But we thank you guys for the continued support in the business, and especially I want to say the same for Talquin Electric. We couldn't do what we do with our day-to-day operations without Talquin Electric, the service they provide from all of our electrical needs, for keeping our guys safe with service drops to sky trims and booted lines, things that really do protect our guys. But a little bit about Fielder Tree. We are locally owned and operated here in Tallahassee. Hopefully you guys have seen the trucks or the signs around town, but we provide everything is paperless now. We've been doing that for a long time, but everything from our proposals, you name it, is handled in office and sent paperless. Right now, everybody is kind of in that mode for preparing for hurricane season. And I think we had a little bit of a wake-up call a couple weeks ago when we had that storm that started around the Lake Jackson area and then went to the north side. And I think as a whole, what we've seen in the past and leading up to now is that with the bigger storms that we've had, a lot of the trees that maybe had a lot of surrounding stability from other trees have been either compromised or removed. They may have been damaged, had been taken down. Now you have a lot of standalone trees that might be a little weaker than in the past. Also, another thing is that we see a lot of trees are currently damaged. They have breaking points. Those are going to be susceptible for issues with approaching hurricane season. We tell people constantly, if you've got concerns or you have fear, it's better to bring it up now. Let us come out there. Let us have an assessment on the tree. Everything's free estimates. Be glad to look at everything throughout the entire property and let you know what we think is an issue or could be a problem coming up with the upcoming hurricane season. We are getting into pine beetle season with the tops of the trees turning brown. If you notice that, there's not a lot of options other than to remove the tree. But all of these things kind of coming together. The best thing to do is just to make a call. We'll come out. We can either do the drive-by or we can set an appointment to meet with you. Again, we do everything paperless. So I'll email it over with the proposals, anything from the permitting to you name it. It's all going to be handled in-house. But other than that, we're here for you. We really appreciate the opportunity to be on board today and look forward to helping you all in the future. So thank you, Dana, and thank you to Talquin Electric.
Thank you, Corbett. We'll turn it over now to our speakers, Tony and Maicel. Tony, let me know if you can share your screen. I also have your slides, so whatever the best way you guys want to do it.
I think first of all, I want to say thank you for this great opportunity to allow Talquin to be able to speak to the community and to partner with the Tallahassee Chamber. It is always a pleasure to continue and grow our partnership. And it's our privilege today to talk with everyone and share how Talquin is preparing for the hurricane season. As we always do, we like to make sure we are keeping our community and our members safe at all times. And this is a great platform for us to use. So my name again is Maicel Green. I serve as the Media and External Affairs person that goes out and make sure that we continue to grow those partnerships so that when seasons, our hurricane season or the COVID season, things like that come around, that we have our resources that we may need in order to make sure we continue to provide the services that we do for our members. So I want to thank you again for this opportunity, and I want to go ahead and introduce Mr. Tony and Guillen, so he will tell you what he does at Talquin Electric and in the midst of the storm.
Oh, Tony.
Oh, sorry. All right, I'm unmuted now. Well, good morning, everybody. I also want to take the chance to the opportunity to thank the Chamber and Fielder for this opportunity to talk a little bit about what we do, how we prepare for storm season. Hopefully give some tips and some advice on things that folks can do going into storm season, and then answer your questions. I think I'm more excited about see what questions we have out there and what we can talk about. Dan, if you could show, I'm not able to share the presentation, so if you could do it.
Sure, let's see.
Real quickly, so again, my name is Tony Guillen. I'm the Director of Engineering and Operations at Talquin Electric. And my responsibilities are over the engineering and operations department. And primarily when we get into in the storms and storm season, it's I'm responsible for ensuring that our crews and our staff are prepared and ready for the storms, for the restoration efforts. After the storm is hit, I work on making sure we have the right resources, that we've got them in the right places. The restoration is going fine, and as restoration is winding down, how we basically release those resources when we get help them outside, and everything that's involved in that. It's quite a broad area, but while those guys are out there, guys and girls are out there repairing the lines, my focus is on ensuring that they've got all the things that they need, and that we're responding to anything out in the community that's coming up, and we're placing our resources in the right places to get the restoration done as safely and as quickly as possible. You go to the next slide, please. All right, so I thought one of the things we could do here is give you guys a kind of an overview of Talquin Electric. It helps with the conversation, and then you get a better feel for some of the things that we do. So as you can see on the screen here, we cover a 4-county area. So it's Leon, Wakulla, Gadsden, Liberty County. I know the majority of folks, I imagine we're talking to, obviously with being the Tallahassee Chamber, it's the Leon County area. But I just did want to show that how far out our coverage area goes. So we're responsible for all the restoration efforts in these areas. The green highlighted areas where we serve. So you have areas like around Leon County, the city of Tallahassee has that. Duke Energy is in the serves parts of Wakulla. And then we have a couple small municipals in Gadsden County, Quincy, Havana, and Chattahoochee that serve their own service territory. But everything outside of those areas, we're responsible for. You can see we have 54,000 electric members. We also have a water and wastewater division. We have about 200 employees, 80 of those which are our field operations folks. We serve 2,500 square miles. So again, it kind of shows how large an area we cover. 24 substations. Our distribution, which is the majority of the lines that you see, the ones that serve the homes. We have 3,500 miles and almost 90,000 poles out on our system. And then we have a small bit of underground. The last line is kind of important to pay attention to. So we have 12.8 services per mile. That's essentially meters. We're a co-op, so we serve a lot of rural areas. And as opposed to maybe what you see inside the city of Tallahassee, where you have a lot of neighborhoods and you have power lines serving a lot of meters, we have things spread out a lot more. So sometimes we have some damage and we have to do a lot of work, and it only brings on a few meters. But again, that's kind of the nature of what we do, and really the reason why co-ops exist is to get that power out to those rural areas. Next slide. Quickly, so we have a kind of an approach when we have a major storm. This shows how we broke up during Hurricane Michael. We essentially break up into 4 service areas as opposed to trying to handle everything in one. And we break up our crews into those areas and work out of those substations and work our way out. As you can see, so the Gadsden and Liberty area seems, well, it covers a lot of area. It covers roughly the same number of members of some of those other areas, and the same number of maybe a few more substations, but they're roughly equivalent. And this breakup works really well. We put a supervisor in each area with his crews, and then they concentrate on that area. And then we also bring in our mutual aid crews to assist, and we break them up into those areas as well. Again, this is how we handled Michael. So it was system-wide. So we broke it up like this. Every storm is a little different, but we have a general approach. And then after we've seen the impact, then we decided quickly how we're going to break things up. Next slide. So this is a good indication, like I was talking earlier, that we are a cooperative. We serve a large rural area, and we have some unique challenges when we have storms. We do serve some residential areas. We have Clarn lakes, and then a lot of residential on the Lake Jackson area. But when you get out into some of the outside parts of Leon County, some areas down in Wakulla County, and especially in Liberty and Gadsden counties, we do get into some unique things that are pretty unique to co-ops. And again, this kind of shows some of the areas that we have to work in, some of the damage that we see. I'm sure you all have seen pictures like these in the recent past with all the storms that we've experienced. All right, next slide. All right, so I thought I'd go quickly over kind of the basic steps for restoration. This graphic's also available on our website, which might be a little easier to see if you want to take a good look at it in the future. But it's essentially the electric system. Kind of the best way to put it is it works almost like your body in your heart, in your circulation system, where everything flows out from the heart, and then you need to make sure you're repairing the things in the right order. So initially, we need to restore focus on the things to start getting the system back up and operating. So basically, the best way to put it is we start on our transmission system, because if we don't have power coming in through the transmission, it's not getting to the substations. So we ensure that we've got that taken care of. And we also next need to make sure that the substations are up and running, because then the power flows out of the substations and into the basically in the distribution lines that go to the neighborhoods. And then from the substations, it works its way out to the neighborhoods. And again, there's the major, what we call our feeder lines, which carry the majority of the power. Then we tap off of those to go into neighborhoods. So we try and fix things in that order, because so if we don't have, let's say, a feeder line fixed, making a lot of repairs, spending a lot of time inside a neighborhood to repair some of the damage in there doesn't help, because there's no power flowing into that area. So we kind of have to work in that sequence. We also concentrate after a storm and making sure that we're getting, when we're getting those major feeders done and the major lines, we basically get a focus on kind of the larger commercial areas, some of the main roads, and that way we can get power back to hotels, which are critical, restaurants, shopping centers, so grocery stores are up and running. So that's kind of a major focus when we first start off, to make sure that all those facilities are up and going, so that all our members can benefit from those things being available. And then we continue to work our way out, primarily trying to get as many members on as possible, and then keep working our way out. And unfortunately, sometimes then it gets down to where we have smaller clusters or ones and twos that take a while to get to. But again, it's just kind of the way we have to focus and get everything taken care of. Next slide. This is a quick summary of what the mutual aid response that we got with Hurricane Michael. As you can see, the co-op response, helping other co-ops or helping us down here in Florida, was significant. We ended up ourselves in Talquin getting help from 6 different states. There were 37 individual co-ops that came down to help us. Missouri was a significant contributor in that they sent down a good portion of those co-ops, kind of as one large group. We did get help from one municipal electric utility. The city of Tallahassee was able to help us out towards the end of our restoration efforts. They, like us, were able to get Leon County restored first, and the way the path of that storm was caused more damage on the western side of our service territory, so Liberty and Gadsden. So we were essentially completed with Leon County and moved our resources over to continue working in Gadsden and Liberty, and the city was also able to help us out, and that was a significant contribution for us. We also have contractors. We have 4 different contractors that we normally have on our system. They bring in additional resources also to help us out. That includes our right-of-way contractors. So they bring in additional resources, so we've got the qualified personnel to work on the power line safely and effectively, and keep that work on quickly. All in total, we had 608 total outside workers. So if you recall, I mentioned we had about 80 to 90 field operations folks in Talquin. We supplemented that with 608 additional field operations folks. So it was quite an effort for Hurricane Michael, making sure that all those folks were efficient, safe, and got the job done. Next slide. And then we always like to try and show off a little bit of some of the help. I could take hours showing all the co-ops that came in, but primarily these are some of the Florida cooperatives that came up to help us with the Gucci, Sumter Electric down in Central Florida, and then Tri-County, which is just to our east. They were able to come over and help. They sustained very little damage, and they made a big effort to help us out, and they were a significant portion because they were able to stay till the very end and commute back and forth while they continue to help us out. So again, a lot of folks to thank, but I just wanted to kind of show and show that this is one of our principles in Talquin and in all cooperatives is cooperation amongst cooperatives, where we help each other out. All the storms we've experienced since here in the recent past, since 2016, I think we've had 4 events where we brought in mutual aid. Our first responders are always our other cooperatives that we work with that come in to help us out. And we as well have been able to go out and provide mutual aid to other folks during that time, which is very nice to be able to do after we get help. So, all right, excuse me. All right, so we also wanted to kind of then go over things that you can do. Maicel, did you want to take over this?
Yes, thank you, Tony. That was I appreciate that information, and hopefully everybody learned a lot from just what we do behind the scenes and how we are continuing to prepare for the season This is what we do every day. So, well, what we do now is just, we get to highlight it and it's game time for us. So what we would like for you to do is, right now, it's very important. We are about 4 days away from June 1st, which is the start of hurricane season. So we want you to start preparing. If you have not prepared, begin to prepare as of today. So once you get off this phone, off the Zoom call, just start preparing. Take what we're saying, put it on paper, and go out and get these things for yourself. So we want you to make that plan. So when you make the plan, you got to think of a lot of different things. So we want you to gather up all your documents. We're going to start inside and outside. So in the inside, while you're at home, while we're quarantined right now, we want you to start gathering up all your important papers. And let's make sure you know where your insurance policy is. Make sure you know where all those important documentations are right now, where you can put your hands on them. And then put them in a plastic bag that's sealed so that it doesn't get wet or damaged. So we want to make sure you do that. And then we also want to make sure that you make a copy of all your household inventory. So you're at home, make good use of your time, use your camera, your phone, go around and take pictures of the items that are in your house. Because this is gonna, when you document this, this is gonna help the insurance company. So when you get ready, if you have to file a claim, you already have that information right there, and it's going to help execute the plan, the process a little bit better for you. So, you know, and then always we want you, while you're at home, think about all the things. Let's go around and make a checklist, and you can kind of like a scavenger hunt, you and your kids. And you can go around and see what items that you do have. Now, we don't have an exhausted list for you, but you can find that on American Red Cross, and you can go to ready.gov.
Maicel, it looks like you froze.
Yeah.
Tony, can you pick up
All
for
right.
us?
Yeah, I can. I'll step in. That's odd. All right. Yeah, like Maicel was saying, there's a lot of resources out there to get more specific details. We list a few here. Also encourage everybody to go to our website. Looks up on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Before storms, this time of year, we're posting a lot of information on things folks can do to prepare. And then after storms come through, we're also obviously constantly posting on where we're at with our restoration efforts. So like Maicel said, it is time to.
Thank you. I don't know. I had connection issues, so we always have to be prepared for that. Thank you, Tony. But yeah. As we continue, I want to make sure that you get your bottled water, your batteries, your battery operated or your hand cranked radio, your canned goods, your non-perishable foods, and make sure, because this is very important right now, because we want to follow the CDC guidelines, get your soap, your hand sanitizer, your cloth face covering. You have that, and I believe, and you double check on this, it started at 2 years and older, that everybody should have your face mask, and make sure you're social distancing. So we want to make sure that we are creating this kit, and it's very important that you have these items. Of course, all your toiletry items and things like that. So again, this is not the exhausted list, but this is a beginning. So you can have scavenger hunt with the kids to identify what you already have, and then everybody has their own kit. The kids can put in coloring books and their crayons, and then some fun board games that you can play, your flashlight, of course. Those are good things to start to see if you have already, and then you put it aside and you prepare your home for it. And on the outside, as Corbett said, we want to make sure, and thank you again for sponsoring this event for us today. We want to make sure if you go out in your yard, you're gonna find, if you find any damaged limbs or trees around your yard, play the great game. You can exercise with this. Is pick up sticks, walk around your yard, play tag, put them in a pile, see whose pile gets bigger, you know, pick up those rocks, anything that the wind can pick up and blow. You want to put that, you want to pick those up around your house, and you want to make sure that your house is prepared for the storm as well. And then make sure your drains and the ditches that are around your property, you want to make sure those are clear, because you want the water to be able to flow, so it doesn't pile up in one area. And so that's very, very important. And after the storm, and Tony can actually talk about this a little bit more, but you want to make sure after the storm is over, it's passed us by. You want to be careful. You don't want to just go out in the yard and begin to clean up. And the reasons why is because those power lines, the trees might, the limbs might still be on a power line that still is live, or it still has electricity going to it. So you don't want to clean up yet. We want to make sure that you're local, you're following us on our social media, our website, and we'll give you the go ahead and to say, okay, but don't rush out immediately. And the other thing is, we don't want you to get out on the streets immediately. And why is this important? We want to keep all the roadways clear so that the emergency units can go out, and as well as Talquin, our trucks, that we can go out there. We have the roads that are clear, and it makes it so much easier. So I know you want to find out, wow, what happened? We want to see what's going on, but take a minute. Let us go out there and do our work, and we need to go out there and assess. And so we need the clear roads. So those are a little bit of tidbits that we would like to offer on our end, because we want to always practice safety first. So make sure you do that. And then also, we're going to talk about the generator, and Tony can go into more details with that, but you want to be careful with this generator. I know everybody wants to run out and buy the generator and then plug it in. No, we're going to give you some tips on why you don't want to just do that. So we're prepared to do that. We're prepared to answer any additional questions that you might have. And we're ready to hear from you. So let us know what it is. And I would be remiss if I missed this opportunity. Thank you for that, Dana. We always want to report any outages, because just because you see your neighbors that are out, they might not have called. We at Talquin, we love to hear from you. So we have our live operators, our automated system. You can text, you can go on your apps on your phone, you can text it. We want to hear from you. So tell us, even though you think that just because the whole neighborhood is out, somebody called, they're thinking you called. So you know what? You be the first, you call. So it is with that I would like for Tony to go ahead and talk about the generator and why it's important to have generator safety before you go and plug things up in your home. Tony?
Thanks, Maicel. Yeah, those are great points. Like Maicel said, that the first step is after an event, a storm, even just afternoon storms, if you see any wires on the ground, you need to treat them as energized. That's the only safe way. That's the way our crews approach every wire that's on the ground, and they're experts. So everything is energized unless it can be proven to be otherwise. And then so they have the tools and the practice to do that. So please be wary of that, and then you just need to call it in, and then we'll go out there and take a look at it. So one of the questions would be like, well, don't we have, when our lines go down, they don't necessarily have to stay energized, and they don't. If everything works fine, we should have protective devices that de-energize the line. But again, unless you can't see electricity, so you need to treat them as if they're energized. One of the issues we run into then is a generator issue. So again, generators are great things to encourage folks if they feel they need to have a generator for, especially if we get into prolonged outages. But how you use your generator is critical. There are resources on the website, actually on our website, as the proper use of generators. But several key points is, first of all, never operate a generator indoors, like inside your garage or anything. You need to set it outside your garage or out on the back porch, somewhere out in the open air. There are engines, they have exhaust, and there's just extremely dangerous to run it in an enclosed space. So please keep that in mind. Second of all is how you hook it up. plugging your generator into a portable generator into an outlet, and then trying to power other devices off of that is extremely dangerous from our perspective. There's a possibility of having that power feeding back onto the lines. And so lines that hit the ground and became de-energized now become energized. And again, that's part of the reason why our folks go out there and approach everything as energized. So please don't be, you need to use your generator the way it's intended to and in a safe fashion. Don't plug it into your house if it's a portable generator. If you have a whole house generator, it should be installed by a licensed electrician with the proper switches so that when the generator is running, it's disconnected from the outside world. So that needs to be done properly. So please keep those things in mind. Generators are extremely dangerous. We regularly, after large storm events, come across places where there are energized lines because of somebody's generator hooked up to their house and feeding all the way back out on the lines. So again, just keep those things in mind as you move forward. Another quick point that Maicel brought out said, we're just a few days away from hurricane season, but we're already, once hurricane season approaches, the next storm will be the third named storm of the year. So we've already had, we had one a couple weeks ago, and there was a named storm yesterday, possibly hitting up in the Carolinas as a tropical storm. I didn't check this morning to see where it was at, but we're already on the third named storm of the season. So even though it's just a few days away, hopefully you've been doing some planning prior to now, and started getting ready for the storm. I think with that we're ready for questions, and I can't recall myself. Need to cover anything else, or?
No, we're ready for questions. Just ready to hear from everybody.
Okay, so just as a quick note, I'm gonna stop share screen, but everyone here are Maicel and Tony's contact information. And again, we are recording and we will share this with everyone who's on. So you don't have to feel like you have to write it down real quick, but if I stop this, it'll be easier for me to look at the Q&A portal. Okay, so if you guys have questions, you can drop them in the Q&A, or if you want to put them in the chat, you can do that as well. We do have one in here that asks, if we are not in a Talquin service area, is there a phone number to call or text a code when there is an outage?
Tony can answer that one.
Yeah. I'm not sure how the other utilities, their exact ways, but there are phone. Obviously, they can call in, and you just need to check with your service provider and see what they provide as far as notification. I know the city does text notifications, but I'm not aware of how Duke or some of the smaller municipals handle that. But I would just encourage you to check with your energy provider, with your power provider. Go to their website and it should have their information on there.
Okay. That's the only question that's in there right now. One of the things I will also, you guys correct me on this if I'm wrong, but starting tomorrow, May 29th through June 4th is the tax-free hurricane supply date. So all of the information and kits that Maicel talked about, those items will be tax-free over the course of the next several days. So it's a perfect time to go ahead and get your kits together. And you can find out what those are if you just do a general search, or if you guys know of any other resources for that.
I know that you can, like I said, if you go online to ready.gov, if you go to American Red Cross, you can find out what items they are. Like I said, first I would go do that scavenger hunt at the house while you're there, and you just kind of see, identify the items that you do have, and check and see if your batteries, if the flashlights work. And you have to go and replace your batteries, because most of the time people say, oh, I have a flashlight and my batteries, and then they don't work when it's already dark. So you want to make sure and check and see if those items are, you have those items and they're all in one space. So, and this would be a good time right now, like I said, to go ahead and make that plan, and then to execute the plan, kind of practice it. So it's a great time while we're at home to do these things.
Corey Melton, our membership VP, put in the chat for everyone as a follow-up to Tony's information about generators. We have several electricians that are members, so if you guys are purchasing a generator or have one that hasn't been professionally installed, let us know. We can export out a list of members and send that directly to you guys. So if that's something that you guys need, please let us know. I do have another question. Where can we find information for lineman training or the co-op programs that Talquin's involved in?
So let me ask the second half of that question. I guess I would like clarification of what we're involved in, a little bit more specific on what you're asking as far as that's concerned would be helpful. If we can get a little bit more detail, and then Tony can go ahead and talk about the lineman program.
And I can also connect you guys as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually for our lineman program, so we have an apprenticeship program, a 5-year apprenticeship program for our lineman certification, where we train our folks ourselves, as most electric utilities do. We hire in at an entry level, essentially groundman position, and then they enter in our apprenticeship, and then over a 5-year period, they're trained and work their way up to their first class lineman. There are some private schools out there that offer pre-apprentice programs, and again, someone can reach out to me. I can provide more information on that if they're interested in finding out. But again, primarily we hire with a high school degree. A CDL driver's license is also required, and then just the desire and the aptitude to become a lineman is what we look for. So we advertise as we have openings. So we advertise it on our website. So I would suggest folks look at that regularly, and we go from there.
I think the only other follow-up from that was you had previously mentioned some co-ops in the presentation that maybe you guys had worked with during Hurricane Michael that I think was what he was referencing, but I can also do an email to everyone.
Yeah. The other co-ops operate in a very, very similar fashion. We have some surrounding co-ops nearby that we communicate with regularly, but they have apprenticeship programs as well. The city also has an apprenticeship program. I know Duke does. So primarily, again, most of the utilities looking to hire at entry level, just look for minimum requirements. Like I said, there are some training schools out there, and I would encourage anybody to look into those, because then folks really know what they're getting into, and they come in with some basic skills. Again, that's not an absolute necessity. We do, regardless of that training, we put everybody through the same training once they've started with us.
Outside of webinars like this, do you guys have any other prep events that you're doing, or any other resources or webinars that you know of that members could learn more about? Do you guys have any other stuff in the pipeline, or really just kind of steered to website and stuff like that? I know obviously we're in a different phase right now since we're meeting virtually as opposed to face-to-face, but.
Thank you, Dana, for that question. I appreciate that. We always have opportunities where we reach out to our members in different fashions. One of the events that we've had in the past, and we can, if it's member driven, is called Talk with Talquin. If that's something that our leadership decides that would be a great opportunity to get on virtual, that's always an opportunity. We're looking for opportunities to be able to continue to reach our members. We do have our current, we have our website, we have our apps. We do have those different means to do that. But again, as times have changed, changing the way we do things, that is something that we definitely are open to. Talquin's very innovative in how we're reaching our members and making sure we're in touch with them. We do normally, in the normal situations, we would, we go out to build a bucket in our 4 counties, and we deliver information there, as well as we provide them with little lanterns or different things like that. For us, I was looking for one because I know I have one around the house. It's a really cool lantern. I love it. And most of the time that our members love to receive those. And then battery operated fans, those are really cool too. So we definitely are in the community. That is one of our biggest roles, is to be out in the community and to hear what it is that our members are needing. So if that's something that we need to look into, that is definitely an initiative that we can bring forth to our leadership, and we can and we will do what we can to move that forward.
Okay. One more question, and then we'll call it a day. Generator, best tips in deciding what size that you might need for your home or for your business.
Ooh, again, I might point to get with an electrician so they can look at their actual needs. There's a lot of different size generators out there. Obviously, if you're going to put a permanent one in, you need to size those specifically to make sure you're covering everything. But again, it just depends on your actual need. I'd recommend folks to just talk with an electrician. They're the best source, and they can really kind of guide them along.
Great. Well, we'll export a list when we also send today's recording and slides so that everybody has that. But do you guys have any closing comments before we jump off today?
I'll go first. Yeah. First of all, thanks again for the opportunity to the Chamber and then the Fielder for hosting this. Like Maicel said, we do try and reach out to the community. It's one of our principles is education of our members in the community. And we are in some weird times, obviously, with what we're dealing with the pandemic. Quick note, we're doing a lot of planning statewide with our statewide agency, with other co-ops and with other utilities with regards to hurricane restoration, because if we do get into where we have an event, how we handle that mutual aid, we're gonna have to manage that slightly differently. Obviously, we don't want to bring everybody into just one location and gather them all up. So we are taking all those things into consideration. Instead of face-to-face meetings, doing a lot of webinars on hurricane preparation with other folks. So we're starting to continue to work on our plan, which we've got every year, that we keep tweaking. And this year we've got some wrinkles to it that we're taking into account. So I just pass along to everybody to keep that in mind for themselves too. Hurricane season, if we do have a hurricane, the response and how you have to manage it could look significantly different. Because be gathering in large groups in the way we've had in the past after large events like that. So again, we're trying our planning. I encourage everybody to kind of think through those different topics also and what they might have to deal with. But again, thanks again for this opportunity. And then any future questions, you guys have my contact, so please reach out to me.
And my thoughts are, pay attention to the local guidance that they're giving us and update your plans for evacuation. Make sure your evacuation plan is taking you away from the storm. Look and identify where your shelters are, and make sure you are very familiar with the shelters that are available to you. Then especially identify the ones that are pet friendly. And in addition to, as you're looking at and making these plans, you want to make sure that you are going to be practicing social distancing there as well. So if you want to also just remember that this is very important for all of us. Talquin is always working behind the scenes. You may, even if you don't see our trucks out there, we're probably somewhere in the woods looking for where that power line might have some interruptions or that pole might be broken. So just remember that we are here to serve you in all capacities, and please make sure to always reach out to us at any time. And with that being said, you have my contact information. Please feel free to contact me at any point. I am available and here to help.
Great, thank you guys. Again, thank you Fielder Tree Service. Thank you Corbett for jumping on with us earlier and telling us a little bit of information about Fielder Tree. We couldn't host this stuff without our members and without our sponsors, so we greatly appreciate it. Again, we will be sending out this information to everyone who attended today, so you can have it, share it with your staff, share it with your friends and family. And if there's anything that the chamber can do for you guys, please let us know. Again, Corey Melton in our membership department. You can reach out to her or myself. Again, my name is Dana Knowles with the chamber. All of our staff information is on the website as well. So thank you everyone. Stay safe, be well, and we hope to see you guys all soon. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
You.